For part 2, last night I was at my good best friend's house, my manager, my North American manager. And we studied some verses of Bhagavad Gita, so those verses are fresh in my mind. So please repeat. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, the verses we studied last night were from chapter 9 of Bhagavad Gita. First of all, what is Bhagavad Gita? Bhagavad Gita, according to what Krishna says in chapter 4, is the science of the relationship between you and God. That is what is Bhagavad Gita. It's a science of yoga. But what yoga? The yoga of your relationship with God. That is one definition of Bhagavad Gita. That you have an eternal relationship with God. It's always been there. You have it now. Just like as soon as your child was born, that relationship goes on. Soon as the child enters your family, that relationship goes on. So similarly, since we come from Krishna, we are all God's children. That relationship with God has always been, it's not going away. I may forget it, I may neglect it, but the relationship is always there. So Bhagavad Gita is the science of that relationship. Now, in chapter 9 is entitled The Most Confidential Knowledge. So if something is most, then there's something confidential, something more confidential, and then most confidential. There's 3 levels. So confidential knowledge is the beginning lesson of Bhagavad Gita. What is the first thing Krishna instructs Arjuna? You're not your body. You're not your mind. You are eternal spirit soul. That's confidential knowledge. You're not going to hear that on Fox News or ZTV. No, that knowledge you will hear in Bhagavad Gita. That is the beginning. Confidential knowledge. That you're not man or woman. That is simply dress. You are eternal soul. Always existed, exist now, and you will exist forever as an individual. So that's why I like to make a joke. You better get used to yourself because you're not going anywhere. You exist eternally. As I tell myself, if I don't like what I see in the mirror, then I need to change what I see. I need to change that. So, that is confidential knowledge, that I am eternal soul. Now, what is more confidential? Well, that's explained in chapter 13. Because in chapter 13, Krishna says that in the body, there are 2 knowers. the individual soul and God. They're two different persons. Krishna says throughout Bhagavad Gita, at least 5 times, I am situated in the heart. So that manifestation of Krishna is separate from me. I'm an individual, and Krishna is also an eternal individual, because in chapter 2 he told Arjuna, never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings. So Krishna's individuality is also eternal, as is yours. So Krishna says, in the body, you are there, and you are experiencing the different pains and pleasures of this body. But then Krishna says, but since I am in everyone's body, I know what's going on in everyone. The same Krishna that's in my heart is in your heart. It's not that 2 different Krishnas are competing. No, it's the same Krishna in my heart and your heart. Therefore, that's another reason why I have to respect you. Because the same Krishna that's in my heart is in your heart. That's another, it's the same Krishna, not a different. Same exact Krishna in your heart, in my heart. This is why we worship the deity. To come to the point, this is mentioned in the Bhagavatam. The whole purpose of worshiping the deity is to get to the point of fully understanding that God is in everyone's heart. That at every moment I am cognizant Krishna is in your heart and my heart. That's why we worship the deity. This is mentioned by Kapil Dev. It's also mentioned by Krishna in the Uddhava Gita. Very important concept. So that's more confidential knowledge. That Krishna is aware of what's going on. I don't know what you're feeling right now. I don't know what you're thinking. I have no way of knowing. I can see by your face, right? You may be, but what you're actually thinking and feeling, I have no idea. And you don't know what's going on in my body. But Krishna says, I know what's going on in everybody's body. Now we go to the third, most confidential knowledge. And that most confidential knowledge is knowledge of Krishna and his devotional service. That's most confidential knowledge. So there's a series of verses in this 9th chapter, which we studied last night. I'd like to go over it again. Verse number 11, very strong verse by Krishna. Avajananti mang mudha, manushing tanum asritam, parang bhavam ajananto, mama bhuta maheshvaram. So what is Krishna saying in this verse? He says, there's a class of persons called mudha, foolish, ignorant. That's mudha. It's very strong. If you call somebody mudha, that's very strong language. But Krishna uses that term. Why are they mudha? Or vajananti. Krishna says, they deride me. They criticize me. They find fault with me. Especially manushin tanum. Especially when I appear in a human-like form, such as Lord Ram. Ravana considered, oh, Ram, he's just an ordinary man. But I like his wife Sita. I will take his wife. Remember, Ravana was given a boon by Lord Brahma, but he failed to take a boon to protect him from humans and animals because he felt, that's insignificant. So what did Ram do? So Ram came in a human form, and the demigods appeared as monkeys. And so Ravana was defeated by a so-called human and monkeys. But they were not ordinary monkeys. They were the Devatas. And this Ram looked like a human being, but actually he's God, Bhagavan himself. Then we have Krishna. When Krishna appeared, he appeared as an ordinary human being. And all the demons, Putana, when Krishna was a little baby, a month old, Putana thought, oh, I will kill this small child. But Krishna killed Putana. And one demon after another. Kamsa himself derided Krishna. So Krishna says that these foolish men, not understanding, when I appear in a human form, they deride me. Why do they deride me? Ajananta. They don't understand. They don't realize. Param. My body is transcendental. Even a little baby form of Krishna is transcendental. As Putana found out that baby form was as transcendental as Krishna on the battle of Kurukshetra. They misunderstand. So Krishna says, my body is transcendental. It is superior. Another definition of param, superior. It means transcendental. It also means supreme. And then he uses Shri Sri Radha Raman Bhagavan Ki Jai. Shri Sri Radha Raman Bhagavan Ki Jai. Then Krishna says, Mama Bhuta Maha Ishwaram. They don't understand Maha Ishwaram. I'm the supreme proprietor of everything. That is the definition of Maheshwar. Supreme proprietor of everything. That is Krishna. That is God. Supreme proprietor. So because they misunderstand Krishna's body, or Ram's body, Ravana thought Ram was just some ordinary prince. But he found out differently, especially when Ram shot his arrows and it entered Ravana's heart. He realized this is not some ordinary prince. So because they don't understand that Krishna's body is supreme or transcendental, and that Krishna is the supreme proprietor, they ridicule Krishna. Now Krishna says in the next verse, and because of that misunderstanding, right, there's a subsequent series that takes place because of that misunderstanding. Mogasha Moga Karmano. Moga Jnana Vichetasa. Rakshasim Asuring Chaiva. Prakriting Mohanin Srita. So because they have this misconception of who Krishna is, this misconception, they become bewildered. And they become bewildered by demoniac and atheistic views. and so forth, because they are bewildered and they are deluded by atheism and demonism, what happens? Their hopes for liberation, destroyed. Their culture of knowledge, destroyed. Their whatever they plan ultimately will be destroyed. Up here is the picture of Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu was the Adi Asura. He was the first demon in the universe. He became the most powerful man in the universe. But look what happened. He also derided the Lord. When he asked his son, "Where is your God?" And Prahlad said, "My God is everywhere," Hiranyakashipu laughed. He thought his son was talking childish. So Prahlad, and then Hiranyakashipu also said, "I am supreme. I am God." And Prahlad said, "No, you are not." So Nrsingadev came to prove the words of Prahlad, because Hiranyakashipu said, "Well, if your God is everywhere, is he in this pillar?" And when Hiranyakashipu tried to strike the pillar, out came God himself in this half-man, half-lion form, and you can see what happens. So this picture of Hiranyakashipu is exact definition of this verse. Their hopes for liberation. Doesn't look like he's getting liberated. His whole kingdom, he lost everything. His whole civilization, everything was lost. And all the demons that Krishna killed, same thing. So that's what happens when you follow demonism and atheism. You can go on for some time, but ultimately, it's like castles made of sand. We've taken our children to the beach. They've made a castle in the sand, and then the wave comes, gone. So everything in this material world, especially created by the demons and atheists, will one day, like castles in the sand, will all be destroyed. Case in point, British Empire. They used to boast, the sun never sets on the British Empire. Now what is it? Gone. Same way, let's make America great again, somebody is preaching. We'll see how long that lasts. Yes, when a society follows demoniac and atheistic views, everything will ultimately come crashing down. Okay, now to give the counter, here is this nice verse from, this verse is so nice. Mahatmanas tumang partha, diving prakriting asrita, bhajantyananya manaso, gyatva bhutadam avyayam. So what does Krishna say here? So, Mahatmana, the great souls. So Krishna says, yes, there are great souls. And Daivim Prakritim. They are not demons. They are not atheists. The great souls, the Mahatmas, they are under the shelter of divine nature. Srimati Radharani. She is the divine potency. Hladini. So the devotees, the great souls, they take shelter of the divine potency. Just like we say, Sita Ram. First we take shelter of the female divine potency. Or we say, Lakshmi Narayan. Same thing. Or we say, Radha Krishna. Or when you go to Vrindavan, what do you hear all the time? Jai Radhe. It's on that basis because they want to take shelter of the divine energy. In Prabhupada's definition of the Hare Krishna mantra, Mother Hara is another name for Srimati Radharani. Mother Hara. Children know. They don't go to father. Where do they go? To mother. Mother will take care of all the child's needs. Right? So devotees, they take shelter of Mother Hara, Srimati Radhika. So that is taking shelter. When there's a storm, you take shelter. I have some friends, again, in Oklahoma. So, curiously, in Oklahoma, they have what is called Tornado Alley. Every year, there are these big tornadoes. So, my friend's son, he built this wonderful house. And my friend, he did the opening ceremony, did the puja. So then I said, well, where are we? He said, oh, we're in Tornado Alley. I went, wait, why did you make your house here in Tornado Alley? But what they did was, because I saw it, they have this big closet. So if the tornado comes, they enter this protective closet. The whole house could get destroyed, but they'll be protected. It's made out of iron, and why they built it, I don't know. But the house is in this area called Tornado Alley. Maybe they have great faith in Krishna, I guess. I myself wouldn't do that. It's like, are you going to build your house where you know there's going to be an earthquake? Or how about right now? You're going to build a house where that volcano in Hawaii is? I don't think so. So we take shelter of this divine, Daivan Prakriting, divine energy, divine nature. Always, constantly. So, now, taking shelter of this divine energy means something. It means bhajanti. It means rendering service. Bhajanti does not mean just worship. Worship is one item. Bhajanti means rendering service. As I mentioned in the beginning, this temple, we are all meant to render service to the deities. That's why we're here, to render service to the deities in any little way we can, by donations, by cleaning, by even here what you're doing. This is service. When you come for the lecture, that is also service. It's not entertainment, it is service. I'm serving, and by you listening, that is your service that you're rendering to Krishna. And right now, Krishna in your heart is very pleased that you're listening. Unless you're on your phone, I don't see. But if you're paying attention, then Krishna is very pleased with you. The pujaris, they are doing their service. Those who do the kirtan, those who cook for the Sunday feast, that is their service. Those who help to serve. Everyone is meant to render some service to the deities. The more that I can do service, the more I am under the shelter. It all is about rendering service. So Krishna says that these great souls, Ananya manasa, in their heart, in their mind, without deviation, they're always thinking of Krishna and how to serve. A businessman, what's he thinking? Money, money, sweeter than honey. That's what a businessman is thinking. But a great soul, Mahatmana, what's he always thinking? Thinking of Krishna and how to serve Krishna. What am I always thinking? I'm always thinking, how can I make the next program better? I have a whole series of programs in the month of June. I have to think, all right, how can I make this program? I have to study. I have to chant. I have to behave so that when I come, I'm in this diving prakriti. I have to be under the shelter of the divine nature in order to do this service. I have to be in a proper mentality. So the devotee without deviation is always thinking, and the devotee is always conscious. Krishna is the origin of creation, and Krishna